courier has just arrived at the Prime Minister's. He brings word that the King has died on the way to Hanover.
What? Then it's long live George II.
Unless the Stuart faction takes its chance, Walpole will be well advised to hasten the coronation.
Yes, indeed.
I think we may safely leave them.
Your servant, my lord. Your instructions shall be carried out to the letter.
I shall expect no less, Mr. Cannon. True, His Majesty is not to be crowned for 2 months, but the coronation service needs long and careful preparation.
My view precisely, your lordship. Indeed, the organist and choir are even now rehearsing one of the anthems while they await the arrival of Mr. Handel.
Await the arrival of... I cannot consider it seemly that the Abbey organist and choir should await the convenience of a person of the theatre.
Ah, but this, my lord, is the famous Mr. Handel.
Who, as a playhouse person, is still to be described in law as a rogue and a vagabond.
His Majesty apparently does not so regard the official composer to the court, my lord. The King has commanded 4 anthems from Mr. Handel.
4? But surely some of our native composers might have been...
Here is Mr. Handel.
I give you good day, my Lord Bishop, and you, Mr. Cannon. Pardon, please, for having kept you waiting.
I'm led to believe that His Majesty has asked you to compose no less than 4 anthems for his coronation.
You have not been misinformed, my lord.
A very signal honor, sir, especially for one who is not, well, not an Englishman.
Pardon, please, but I am even more certainly an Englishman than yourself, my lord bishop. I am English by act of parliament. That means that while you are English by no act of your own, I am English by choice.
Really, Mr. Handel, I had no...
I made this choice for love of England. Also, I think it very suitable that I compose anthems for England's king.
Then perhaps I may be allowed to select suitable texts for the anthem.
With submission, my lord bishop. I am a good Lutheran. I know my Bible well. I choose texts myself.
Well, upon my soul, Mr. Canon, we live in strange times. That a bishop should be browbeaten by a mere musician.
Plainly, something must be done. We are throwing money into the gutter.
If it is money you want, Heidegger, you had better go back to your masquerades.
A low sort of entertainment, my friend. You and I were strangers then. I had not realized what your genius could do for opera.
Ah. Public is tired of opera. Needs something else.
The public never knows what it needs until it is led by men like me.
Led, for example, into the theater?
That will come again. Trust me. Tomorrow, we go, you and I, to Richmond.
Richmond? Why Richmond?
To see the Prince of Wales. To beg his royal patronage for our news.
Nein, Heidegger. I write music for you. I conduct music for you. But I beg no one to listen to it.
Herrgott, Sternheibote man. Well, I go alone.
Do, if you think the Prince of Wales' presence will make the music sound so much better. That man's one purpose in life is to be a shame and vexation to his father.
Chesterfield, I'm bored. I'm tired of playing rough.
As your Royal Highness pleases. Shall we go back to loo or piquet?
I'm beginning to hate the sight of cards. Cards, cards, cards.
I regret that I cannot supply your Highness with resource. What would you like to do, sir?
Bluff, man, I don't know. Yes, I do know what I want. And you know it too. I want to go back to London.
Hardly possible in the face of your royal father's embargo.
Well, what is it?
May it please your Royal Highness, it is Mr. John Heidegger of the Opera.
Ha! A pretty pass I'm brought to. My only visitor in the day, a precious rascal of the playhouse. Well, he's better than nobody. Bring him in.
Heidegger, all the way from town. What does this portend, I wonder?
Easy to guess. Heidegger finds at last that my dear father's pet, the great Handel, is not attraction enough. He finds himself in need of my patronage. I always said Heidegger was a fool to stick to the Saxon.
In mere justice, if your Royal Highness takes an interest in that abstraction, I would point out that Mr. Handel did fill the theater over a long period.
Ah, years ago. That's old history. He bores me. He has always bored me. And even if I liked him, I should still have to hate him, because my dear father likes him. Do you follow me?
Your Royal Highness is always so admirably lucid.
Mr. John Heidegger.
Ah, Heidegger. And what brings you here?
I come, your Royal Highness, a suppliant for the honor of your patronage for Mr. Handel's coming season of opera.
My patronage? Isn't the King's enough for you?
The answer to that, with all respect, your Highness, should be plain in my request for yours.
What did I tell you? I do lead the fashion in London. You ask a great deal, you know. Your friend Handel's out of favor these days.
In my view, unwarrantably. Indeed, Your Highness, I have heard the new opera, and I assure you it is enthralling.
You fellows talk largely of every new production. Pity is the public don't always agree. What do you think, Lord Chesterfield?
Think, egad, that common report for once is right. Here is certainly the ugliest man in London.
I do believe you're right.
I have 100 guineas to back my opinion, sir.
Faith, I wouldn't like to take you. He is monstrous plain.
With your permission, Heidegger, here is the challenge. Anyone here invited to produce a human, male or female, with a face uglier than Heidegger's, at 100 guineas a side.
For how long is the offer open?
1 week, Charles.
Demi, I believe the whole thing's a confounded bubble, Chesterfield, but I'll take you.
Sir Charles, I have lived on my face for years. I have 50 guineas that say it cannot be beaten.
Done, Charles?
Take you too, Heidegger.
And I appoint myself judge.
Infinitely obliged to your Royal Highness. Shall we say 12 o'clock this day week on the stage of Heidegger's theatre?
I so appoint it. And so good day to you, Heidegger.
Might I remind Your Royal Highness, touching the less accidental object of my visit, my request...
Danny, I'm going to appear on your stage.
But if I may venture to hint, sir, the theatre will be empty.
And if I may venture to hint, nothing new about that.
You become tiresome, Heidegger. Go away. Don't forget, noon of Thursday next at your theatre. We shall all be with you.
Indeed we will.
Those Italians of yours are always fighting.
What Italians?
I'll get them.
Oh, them! If they're Italians, I'm a Russian. That's only Mr. Handel taking Mrs. Sibber through her part in the new opera. If music was talking, to make you sing was easy. Listen. Nine notes of 8 quavers. Thus.
But you play dots. La 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 la.
For me, there are dots. There are no dots for you.
I like it better with dots.
I say there shall be no dots.
And I say there should be
Oh,
dots.
death, Teufel! Do I write this opera or do you?
Obviously you. Whereas, if it had been me...
But then?
I should have written phrases, pretty to sing, sir, and the opera had better chance of success.
You have genius, no doubt.
No doubt.
Someday you will write an opera, and I will sing in it. And I will sing what you write. Until then, you sing what I write.
Mr. Handel, Mr. Handel.
Go away. I am busy.
Mr. Handel, pray come down to receive His Royal Highness.
How shall I receive anybody when she will not sing my music?
But the Prince...
Why do you plague me with this one? She is worse than Cassone.
You compare me to that ugly Italian baggage.
I do not.
Mr. Heidegger.
She could sing.
Mr. Heidegger, you're wanted on the stage.
Ah, coming.
Now, man up, once more.
Ah, my lord, I had not realized you were already in the house.
The Prince will be here at any moment.
We are greatly honored.
Study him closely and tell me, is it possible Charles can produce anything more hideous?
Now, my lord, may I be permitted to fetch Mr. Handel?
Never mind about Handel. We have no money wagered on him.
Will you sing the aria of my bed?
Never!
Ah, you think you are a she-devil, But I am the prince of devils.
What are you going to do?
Teach you as I taught Kazuni.
Will the man do murder?
Don't he worry, ma'am. He won't hurt her. Not Mr. Handel. Just a little persuasive habit of his.
I'll see it your way!
Ah, good.
Capturing wretch. But I think after all, your way is best.
We are friends again, my Nixon. I am very glad. I hate quarrels.
Then why have them so often?
I would never quarrel if people did not contradict me.
You're such a bear. You don't know when you give offence. And you will give offence in high quarters if you're not on the stage to receive His Royal Highness.
If it will make you sing, I will bow before a prince. I will go down on all fours.
Wait! You mustn't go down like that.
Why, what is this? First you say I must go down, then you say I must not go down. What is this thing?
Your coat. It looks as though it'd been slept in. And your neckerchief is a disgrace. I shall have to scold your servant, I think.
I haven't got one. He left suddenly last week.
Thrown out of the window, I suppose.
No, he ran too quick for that.
I shall have to find a servant for you and see that he treats you properly.
Nine. That is too much. First you want to rewrite my opera. Then you say I must go downstairs. Then you say I must come back. Then you find a servant to manage my house. I think you are an interfering besom.
And I think you are as impolite as you are unkempt. But I am not afraid of you. Now, off you go and pay your respects to the prince. Shoo! Shoo!
Silence, gentlemen, please.
Well, Charles, we await the appearance of your choice.
Well, what if this old mare will win the stakes? She's far uglier than Heidegger. What do you say, sir?
Charles wins. The old drab beats Heidegger by a short head.
I'll trouble you for 100 guineas, my lord.
Your Royal Highness, I claim unfair play.
I protest I saw none. What do you mean?
Heidegger wins in a canter. I flatter myself you all agree with me.
Oh, yes, I agree.
Charles, I'll trouble you for 100 guineas. Oh, and 50 to Heidegger.
I said from the first demi that it was all a confounded bubble.
I have His Royal Highness's permission to invite you to my house.
My lord, I claim to have shown myself amenable to your humor. His Royal Highness's patronage for our coming season.
One good turn deserves another, Heidegger. I'll see he gives it.
Thank you, my lord. We have succeeded. The prince will honor our new opera with his presence.
From what we have just seen, that young man could honor nothing with his presence.
You are pleased to be obscure.
I tell you, Heidegger, if I can only succeed by crawling to such people, I should be content to fail. Come.
By my primroses, lovely primroses. All by my primroses, primroses, primroses.
Go away. Are you Peels?
Pills? No, I'm the apothecary.
I do not hold the apothecary. Are you Palish, then?
Palish? No, I'd never work for a sponging house.
I am pissy. If you are neither Peels nor Palish, what might you be?
Well, I must be the Duke of Buccleuch, but the fact is that I'm plain Phineas Bizet, your body servant.
Body servant? I have no body servant.
Maybe you didn't have this morning, but you've certainly got one now. Body servant, butler, watchdog, and general factotum. And Mr. Handel, for God's sakes, it's no full time. Look at this room. I've never seen such a boor.
What are you doing? I do not understand your speech. What brings you here? Can't you see I'm busy?
Well, Mr. Handel, sir, to take your questions in order. First, I'm saving a good coat from ruin by folding it properly. Second, you'll come to understand the Scotch tongue in time, or else I'll temper it to your comprehension. Third, what brings me here should be apparent from what I'm doing. And fourth, I see that you're so busy that you'll live in a state of neglect. And lastly, if I do go away, what will Mrs. Sibber say?
Did that interfering jade sent you?
Well, saving the unhandsome description, she did.
Then I shall speak to her severely.
Abrams you will, sir. But lush, Mr. Handel, yon's an awful persuasive lady.
Do you understand what it is to write music?
No, but I know what it is to play it or sing it.
Oh, you do you? Come here. What do you make of that?
In honest fact, sir, almost nothing. I'm just fair struck with wonder. Here's the lines played by the several instruments and sung by the different voices, is that it?
That is it, my friend.
It's a great gift you have, sir. You must needs be a humbly thankful man.
I try to be, my friend. I try to be. And now I think, thank you for your visit. Yeah. I think you must go.
Go, sir?
Yeah, go. I must do without a servant.
My dear Mr. Handel, and I was sure you and Phineas would make friends.
Madam, your plot has succeeded. Phineas and I are friends. But I am busy now. And I do not need a servant. I cannot afford one.
It will be all right, Phineas. You are engaged at 10 shillings a week.
And all found?
And all found, of course.
Oh, what is this? I cannot even pay him 10 pence a week and all found. Look here. Look there. Bills. Nothing to pay them. How can I keep a servant?
It's sake, Mr. Handel. If you cannot keep a servant, it's time you had a servant to keep you. You're spending enough to supply a palace.
Just as I thought. You need Phineas to look after you. Go and get Mr. Handel something to eat. Cook something nice.
What, can he cook?
To a miracle.
Why didn't you tell me?
You'll remember, sir, that we talked of deeper matters than food.
There. Now you need worry over nothing save your music.
Yeah, I like him. I think I can trust him. And this time I am grateful to you. But there must be no more interfering with my affairs.
My true intent is all for your delight, or at least for your comfort. How can you write music if you're not fed and cared for?
Ah, I sometimes wonder why I write music at all. One failure behind another. Arminio, Giustino, Faramonto.
That with respect is nonsense. You can still draw all London.
Draw all London. What does that mean?
Most people would envy you.
For years, fashionable society crowded my theater. Not because they knew whether the music was good or bad, but because it was the modish thing to do. I made a fortune. Very agreeable.
But your music was. It is good.
Some of it was, some of it was not. You and I are musicians, we know that. Now, the same people stay away from my operas.
Yes, but...
Not because the music is bad, but because it is no longer the fashion. I lose a fortune. Very disagreeable.
Under the prince's patronage, the new season must be a success.
Yeah. And if they hear him say, "Devilish good, Charles," they will flock to it. But if they hear him say, "Devilish dull, Charles," they stay away. Such people. How can men realize his dreams writing for them?
What, master, is your dream? Can you tell me?
In words, no. In music, only dimly. Here, maybe, I capture a faint echo. Ah, but the faintest echo.
I think... No, I hope I understand.
Music that will raise a man to the skies, cleanse his mind and soul.
If I have a dream, and I think we all have, it is to sing such music.
It will not come to me. I cannot write it until I have in some fashion shaken off the fetters of this world. This world in which money must be found for the butcher and the baker, in which I have to find 10 shillings a week and all found for my new servant.
Your new opera will see to all that.
We shall see. Meantime, I have work to do. Goodbye, madam. I will see you at this afternoon's rehearsal.
That too slow. I get no breath for the top A. I cannot hold it.
It is marked moderato.
You play Adagio.
I play it moderato as I wrote it. If you breathe properly, you can sing the wrong. And I do not want you to hold the A. It puts the music out of shape.
Porco esazione! If you play it like that, I jump on your dulcimer and break it to pieces.
Well, tell me when you will jump, and I will put it on the playbills.
What do you mean, put it on the playbills?
Far more people will pay to see you jump. They never pay to hear you sing.
Pervato, an insult. Either you leave this theater or I do.
You go. I stop. I like it here.
I leave forever. Heidegger! 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 Oh, sono stato offeso. Me ne vado e per Dio. Non tornerò più. No, I go.
My dear Handel, what have you done? That is the last of our Italians.
Engage Englishmen, then. I am tired of Italians. Now, I want everybody to stop talking and working. I must have complete silence.
Silence, everybody, please.
Now, my dear.
What are you doing?
My master says he's always ready for something to eat.
He will kill you if you disturb him now.
Heard ye ever the like? The harps and choir of heaven itself will not sound sweeter. No, they couldn't.
If this can move you, lad, imagine what it'll be like on the first performance.
Charles, not a bad look of a girl. What do you say, Charles?
I agree.
Tell you what, the costume doesn't really do her justice. No. Put her in a presentable costume and she'd look really beautiful. By gad, you're right. The Saxon fellow seems to have finished. Good thing, too.
Devilish dull, Charles.
Oh, well.
Go away, please.
My lady's chair.
I'm afraid, Siva, this throws away our last chance.
Oh, I hope not, Mr. Heidegger.
Yes, it means ruination for me and ruination for Mr. Handel.
Beg pardon, sir. Did I hear you say my master was ruined?
Nothing more certain.
In that case, he'll want something nice for his supper.
Finished. That's what we are. Finished and done for.
And you think that I refused a desk with Bononcini just because I always liked Mr. Handel?
That's the trouble. You can't help liking him.
Gentlemen, I am not quite satisfied with the end of the second act. We will rehearse it tomorrow.
Of course, we'll do anything you want, sir, but is it any use?
What do you mean?
After tonight, I mean, all London will stop away.
Perhaps. But at least they will stop away from a work perfectly played. Tomorrow, gentlemen, at 11.
My dear Handel, you realize, of course, what you have done.
Perfectly. I have tried to teach a royal fop a lesson in manners.
But at what a cost. Not only to yourself, but to me. And then, to bring His Royal Highness here. Some would say I sacrificed my self-respect.
I keep my self-respect. My music is not for drowning a princess in anities. Nor will I let Mrs. Sibber sing, whilst he appraises her like a cattle dealer.
Let me say a word for you to Bononcini. He will find something worthy of your talent.
Thank you, my Lord Chesterfield, but I'm content to let Mr. Handel do that.
And to what purpose, child? Mr. Handel's ship is sinking.
Your lordship, then, would have me play the rat?
Better a live rat than a drowned donkey. Mistress Sibber, I come from His Royal Highness. He deplores the position in which Mr. Handel's conduct has placed you, and bids you to take supper with him.
Oh, but what conduct must have made a great impression. My humble duty to the Prince, Sir Charles. Please say that I am sensible of the honor, but I'm already engaged for supper.
And may one ask, madam, whose invitation stands superior to the prince's?
None, my lord. I merely intend, if you will allow me, to cook supper for a man of genius. Mr. Handel.
Your servant, madam. I will carry your message to His Royal Highness. Provide supper for Mr. Handel by all means. I fancy he'll need to look back to it with longing in the near future.
Loyalty, my child, like charity, should begin at home.
Spare me your aphorisms, my lord. Ladies and gentlemen, you must be as eager to join your friends as I am to join mine. My maid will show you to the stage door. Mary?
Madam,
Oui, madame?
I assure you there is no need for haste.
If not on your part, my lord, there certainly is on mine. Mary?
If you please, my lords, my ladies. Really, madame, must change, please.
Pray remember, child, I am ready to help you. When your discernment matches your courage.
I am at least able to discern genius, my lord. A gift not shared, it seems, by princes or their minions.
Step me, if it isn't the eminent Mr. Handel. And infinitely pleased with himself, no doubt.
Sir Charles Marsham, I think. You pray excuse my conversation. I'm in no mood for talk, however witty.
Egad, Mr. Handel, that's just the point. I fear you have shown your dislike for talk over plainly.
Nor am I in a mood for quibbling, sir. If you mean the prince, I acted honestly.
Honestly, maybe. But I suggest in a devilish, ill-mannered way.
Well, who can blame me for bettering the instructions of my superiors?
There you arrive at the kernel of the matter, Master Handel. Your superiors do resent the bettering of their instructions.
And you may tell them, sir, that I shall do just the same again if the need arise.
You will scarcely find another occasion. For myself, although I find your music plaguey dull and long-winded, I bear you no malice. But I cannot allow that a mere musician should dictate to me about behavior. Therefore, Master Handel, I will do my best to drive you out of London and back to that obscurity from which I venture to think you should never have emerged. Give you good night, Master Handel.
Waste of time trying this place.
Oh, is it? And why?
They won't pay you. I'm trying to collect money that's been owing for months. Mr. Handel, I think.
Yes, what is it? What is it?
Beg your pardon, sir, but my little account, sir. Morb's the name.
Oh, all in good time, all in good time.
Yes, sir, but this is the good time, sir.
A good time for you, perhaps, but not for me. Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Gentlemen, give me a hearing. You are not the only sufferers. Mr. Handel and I have lost nigh £20,000 on the season.
That's entirely your business. We didn't ask you.
It seems that I am under discussion.
Discussion about our account.
About bills.
we want
and
to
funds,
too. Mr. Handel, we are telling Mr. Heidegger that we've waited long enough for our money. Either you pay us or you go to prison.
Yes, either pay or go to prison. Gentlemen, how can you be hurt if you all talk at once? You say you wish to send us to prison? Very well, then. You are within your rights. But, gentlemen, consider. In prison, Mr. Heidegger cannot produce. I cannot compose. How, then, are we to make money to pay you?
But what guarantee have you?
Twice before have I been in difficulties. But each time, every penny has been paid. Gentlemen, if you will leave us alone, Mr. Heidegger and I will consider how best to recover our losses and repay you. Good afternoon.
I bid you good day, sir.
That is better. Now we can have a breathing space.
But we have nothing save the air we breathe.
Is it as bad as that?
Producing for a man who insults the Prince of Wales is very expensive.
I will suffer insults from no man, no matter his rank.
I suffer their insults, but not for my own benefit.
I am sorry, Heidegger. You have served me well all these years.
I serve myself. My dear Handel, I am no sentimental dreamer. You and your music have been a gold mine.
Well, since the mine is empty, we must find another.
Find another? Easy to say. But how?
A revival.
Acis and Galatea. It drew the whole town. It is a chance. How much shall we need for that, I wonder?
Whatever it is, I will raise it.
You put heart into me.
Good, Heidegger, good. I see no need for despair. True, our theater is closed, but they still play my music. They are giving me the whole program at Vauxhall tonight.
are the Prince of Wales.
Bless my soul, so it is.
Curtsy, children. He may see us.
Your Royal Highness, I've only just heard. I did not know that you were honoring us this evening.
Give you good evening, Tars. Don't apologize. A surprise visit.
I'm overwhelmed, sir.
You're doing well, you old rascal. What brings you such a crowd tonight?
Oh, well, sir, a special occasion, sir.
Oh? What's the occasion?
A night of gala of Mr. Handel's music, sir.
Did you say Handel?
Yes, sir. Every item tonight is...
Well, looky here, Tars. You'll need to change the rest of your program.
Oh, but sir, we've had bills out for I don't know how long announcing that only Handel's music would be played tonight. That's what's drawn the people.
Oh, damn the people. I've taken an oath the fellow's music shall never be played in my presence. So you can take your choice. Either you change the program or I leave the garden.
Your Royal Highness.
The remedy's in your own hands. No Handel.
But, sir...
Play something from the Beggar's Opera.
Your servant always, Your Royal Highness.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, ma'am. A quarter ounce of rapide, please.
Certainly, sir.
Oh, Himmel Dummkopf. I am sorry. I have forgotten to bring any money.
Bless you, Mr. Handel. Don't you worry. You're not the kind of gentleman to rob an old woman.
You know me?
There are not many in these parts that don't know you. Many's the shilling I've paid to hear you and your gentleman. And I'm not the only one either.
I am glad that you go to the theatre.
I always say there's nothing like music to take your mind off your troubles. And the good Lord knows I've had my share.
The good Lord's ways are ever mysterious, ma'am.
I used to think you theatre folk were always happy. But poor Mr. Keach's troubles taught me different.
Keach? Why, there was a Keach used to play for me.
There now, to think of that. Well, he's in a bad way. His chest, and those two little boys and all to look after.
I must see him. I'm sure it's the same man. I'll come back and pay you for your rapide.
That's all right, sir. And it's an honor to serve you.
Where does this Keach live?
They used to live near here, but they moved when he lost his work. He went to Rope Lane.
Rope Lane?
It's not very far from here,
Yes,
sir.
thank you. I'll find it. Good night. Can you tell me where a Mr. Keach is to be found?
No, mister. That I can't.
But I was told he lived here in Rope Lane.
That's right. He did.
Oh, you mean he's moved?
No, I don't. He's just been tooken.
Tooken? I don't understand.
He's dead, mister. Starvation.
Oh, God have mercy on us.
You may well say it.
You mean he died?
Starvation. That's what I said. Meaning having nothing to eat. Them's his children. Poor mites.
His children? Your father was a musician, wasn't he?
Yes, sir. He played the oboe, but for a long time he'd had no work.
Poor fellow, I knew him well.
Pity you didn't do something for him.
I would have helped him gladly if I'd known he needed it.
Well, he's beyond needing it now, poor man. But what's to happen to them?
They're coming home with me.
Not so fast, mister. We don't know nothing about you. And there's been a deal of child stealing round here recent.
Don't be a fool, it's Mr. Handel.
Mr. Handel of the theatre?
Of course it is.
I'm sure I beg pardon, sir. I didn't know. Go with it, gentlemen, boys. You'll be all right with Mr. Handel.
Yes, you'll be all right.
Good evening, Mr. Handel.
Good night,
Mr.
Handel.
This little bill of mine.
Good night.
Just I must have money, Mr. Handel.
Another time.
What about our accounts, Mr. Handel?
Here, this bill of mine's been owing too long. Mine too, Mr. Handel. You can't go sneaking in by the side door. I refuse to budge till I've seen Mr. Handel. Oh, you'll budge, never fear. What, another of them?
Phineas, stop.
Oh, Mr. Handel.
Come along, children. Don't be frightened.
Well, I must say that...
Why must you? Another time. Good night.
No, look here, what about my...
Sit down, sit down. You'll be yourselves in a moment. Now, what is your name?
Harry, sir.
Huh?
John.
John. Phineas, food. Quickly, quickly.
Yeah, well, that's just the trouble, sir. There's none in the house.
No food?
Well, nothing that you would call food. Mrs. Sibber came today and left some fruit.
Mrs. Sibber?
Aye, sir, Mrs. Sibber. Well, of all the impudence!
Phineas, stop! Stop! Come in, Mr...
Permarble, sir.
Mr. Permarble. Phineas, help Mr. Permarble to come in.
I'll see him fried first.
Do as I say.
Oh.
And bring the other gentlemen in too.
What, the whole arithmetic of them?
Yeah, everyone.
Save us and help us.
Oh, I wasn't suggesting, sir, as you should let the others in. Their accounts could wait, but...
We will have no favourites, Mr. Permarble.
But...
It shall be share and share alike. I must ask your pardon, gentlemen, for keeping you waiting.
We don't want to be hard, Mr. Handel, but what about settling these here little bills? In my case, for meat. Mostly prime cuts supplied.
Mr. Belfitt, I want to give you 2 pictures.
Afraid I must ask for hard cash, Mr. Handel.
Ah, no, you mistake me. I want you to see the pictures in your mind. They are very different. On the one hand, there is your shop, filled with the finest beef, mutton.
Primest Southdown.
Exactly, primest Southdown. Primest veal, primest pork. A picture of plenty. A picture that Mr. Hogarth would love to paint. Rich, red meat.
Oh, it makes me hungry to think of it, Mr. Handel, sir.
Ah. And now, I will give you the other picture. Here are 2 boys. They are starving. Their father, an honest, hard-working musician, has just died. Of what do you think he died?
Not the cholera, surely.
Fever? You cannot guess. I will tell you. He died of starvation.
I don't like the sound of that, and that's the truth.
Like that father, I too am a hard-working musician. Some of you have known me for over 20 years. I have been in your debt before, but always you have been paid.
A word in your ear, Mr. Handel, Mr. P. Your pardon, Mr. Handel. I would like a word with these neighbors on the quiet. I don't know when I enjoyed a meal more.
Here, here. Very nice bit of beef of yours, Mr. Belfitt.
Gentlemen, I do not know how to thank you.
Please, sir, can we thank these gentlemen by playing them some music?
Oh, you want to sing for your supper? Can you play?
Oh, yes, sir. Father taught us since we were very little, before he was taken ill. I play the violoncello and he, sir, the violin.
Mark, gentlemen, how your generosity is rewarded. Come, John, come here with me.
But it's beautiful, sir.
Ah, your father taught you something other than music. You are right, it is beautiful. That is the work of the greatest of English makers, Baruch Norman. Now, we will give these good gentlemen a little recital, and I will be the conductor. What shall we play?
Please, sir, the aria Circe sang in your last opera.
You know it.
Yes, indeed, sir. We used to listen to rehearsals outside the window at the back, and then go home and practice.
Oh, wunderbar. I would my orchestra were a seagull.
Is Mr. Handel at home, Phineas? Oh, but I can hear he is. What's going on?
A bonny ploy, madam. Folks that have been thrown out of the place for weeks are sitting in there enjoying themselves. The house is full of food. And Mr. Handel has started an orphanage.
An orphanage?
An orphanage, ma'am. Making a start with a pair of wee laddies.
Charming. Charming. And one of Mr. Handel's most delightful airs.
Is that by the odious Handel? It's certainly less dreary than usual.
Come, Lady Pym, we may detest the despotic methods of the man, but it were crass, surely, to deny his imagination, his genius.
Lord Chesterfield, there's hair splitting.
Not at all, my dear Charles. I have never found it more than convenient to follow the fashion. My taste remains my own concern.
But do you mean to say that you prefer Handel to Bononcini?
Infinitely, as a musician. But as I prefer to appear in public with my friends, I shall patronize Bononcini.
My Lord Chesterfield has no choice. Handel is finished.
As he should be.
And the cabal against the man flourishes?
The long process of decay is now coming to an end. He has no singers. We have found means to deprive him even of the faithful Mrs. Savard. His money has gone. We shall rent the theatre over his head.
Isn't it all rather breaking, not a butterfly, but a beautiful songbird on a wheel?
Do you protest?
Not I. I take life as I find it. But Handel is a stubborn fighter. For years he has charmed us, despite ourselves. It may be that despite us, he will find ways to charm us too.
I only require temporary accommodation, Captain Coram, until I can make other arrangements.
Why, you see, sir, bless your heart, my hospital, when it comes to be built, is to be for deserted babies. Anything up to 2 months old.
Oh, what a dummkopf I am. I do not understand. Pardon, please.
Nay, now, bide a while. I have 60 infants disposed in temporary quarters. So it'll go hard if I, with such experience, cannot find comfortable stowage somewhere for these lads. Eh, my boys?
I am sincerely grateful to you.
Sir, I'm thankful to you for the opportunity. Here is a draft of the hospital as we hope to build it.
Indeed, this is a great and noble work you have begun. It will surely receive the blessing of him who bade the little children to come unto him. I envy you, Captain Coram.
I never thought to hear the great Mr. Handel envy an old sailor.
I envy any man who discovers a path of well-doing and pursues it. This work that you have set your hand to will never perish. Your name will live forever, sir.
You rate the matter too highly. I see my duty, as a sailor usually does, and expect no immortality for doing it. You'll be looking in again to inquire about the boys.
Oh, naturally. But I cannot allow that they should be your responsibility alone. Indeed, I have a plan to help them, and I am now on my way to consult with some of my colleagues. Goodbye, Captain Coram, and I thank you for your goodness.
No goodness at all, sir. Goodbye, Mr. Handel.
Goodbye, John. Goodbye, Harry. Be good lads. Don't forget it.
Goodbye, sir.
Thank you, sir.
O'Grad?
Your Honour.
Is all set?
Sure, 20 of the stones, half a guinea a man.
Damn your reckoning. Now, wait until the performance has begun, and then, what's your word?
Box it about, Your Honour.
Then box it about in the devil's name. Meet me here when the game's afoot.
Right, Your Honour.
Yourself out of this. Why should we as a free country, so they say? How can the people inside here with this going on? Sure, there's no concern of mine. We are hired to play here, and play here we shall. Who's to stop us? Box in the mouth.
Bitter cold night again, gentlemen.
The coldest night, I think, in all these weeks of frost.
Well, what's the gossip?
Well, who in the country talks of anything save this bitter cold?
And who in town of anything save this bitter cabal by Prince and party against opera Mr. Handel?
How fares Mr. Handel these days, Robert?
Oh, the man has no luck. His last opera was killed by this uncommon cold, and you know what happened to his piece in the summer.
Killed by the heat.
I'd wager a want a good singer's killed both pieces, just as much as either the excessive heat or cold.
And you'd be right.
Do you know, Phineas, there were times when I thought I should never come down these stairs again.
It was touch and go for you, sir. But you'll soon be your own self again, never fear. That's the way. Just a few steps further.
I feel better already.
I'm glad to hear you talk like that, sir. And the doctor will be thinking he's done a grand job.
The doctor who cured me was Dr. Phineas.
Now, come and sit down, sir. There.
When did I last pay you?
Oh, it's just don't concern yourself with that.
Was it this month?
Well, no, not exactly.
Was it last month?
Well, sir, no, it wasn't just last month, but I'm sure I had something the month before.
Oh, it is a scandal you should be treated so.
Oh, scandal here, scandal there. It's for me to complain. And now when I hear you spoiling this beautiful day, your first morning up with unpleasant considerations.
But you must live.
I'm a long way for a day, and I promise you.
No, Phineas, for too long have I let others bear my burdens.
Oh, burdens that folks like bearing are no burden.
There's no excuse. I must face the truth. I am a failure.
Well, now, I'll give you another word on that score. At the worst onset of your illness, you kept talking. A lot of what you said was beyond me, but there was one thing I did understand.
What was that?
You meant to do greater work than you'd ever done.
Oh, delirium, Phineas.
Maybe, but it was the only thing you said that sounded like sense.
Ach, lieber Gott, show me that work and give me strength to do it.
Good sakes, sir. Are you all right?
Yes, yes. What would you say, Phineas, if I told you that soon I was to begin my greatest work?
I'd say grand, but it's time you had your physic.
Sweeper! Sweeper!
There is only one voice in all England like that. That is Mr. Charles Jennings.
Sweeper, is the road fit for me to walk on?
Yes, sir.
Very well, I will get out.
Bring me my cap.
But what about your physic?
Never mind now. Open the door.
The gentleman and his captain, sir.
Chaplain, fellow.
Good day, Mr. Jennings. Excuse me being seated, but I am still rather weak.
Ah, Mr. Handel, I'd hoped to see you recovered.
I am able to leave my bed, sir.
I'm glad to hear it. I brought Pooley with me. You may have noticed him.
I hope I see Mr. Pooley well.
Yes, Mr. Handel. Save for a twinge of rheumatism due to...
Pooley, we are interested in neither your rheumatism nor its causes.
No, Mr. Jennings.
I shall do what talking is necessary.
That will prevent any further oppression of your companions.
Really, Mr. Handel?
And really to you.
Upon my soul, Mr. Handel, this tone from you to me.
What tone do you expect from me? As humble as that you demand from your chaplain? Eh? Let me tell you, sir, I am not at all humble.
No offense, Mr. Handel.
No, that is not quite true. I am humble before my God. For he has let me see this day. He has still work for me to do.
I believe him, sir.
Then you may sit down. Pray be seated, Mr.
Yes, you may be seated, Pooley.
Oh, sir, I wouldn't presume.
Sit down, man. Now, touching the matter which brings me here.
Begging your pardon, sir, but Mr. Handel must have his physic first.
Fellow, don't you know your place?
None better, sir. My place is to see that he takes this.
Mr. Handel, am I to be answered back by a menial?
Leave us, Phineas.
Take yourself off.
Not till he's had this.
All right, put it down. I'll take it. Now, Phineas, if you are impertinent, I will stop your wages.
Oh, I wouldn't like that, sir. Now, see that he swallows every drop.
Now, Mr. Handel, I...
Mind what I say, because he'll leave half of it if you don't watch him.
Really, Mr. Handel.
Go.
Now, mind.
Quick, before he comes back.
Pooley, hand me the manuscript of my new oratorio. Now, Mr. Handel, I venture to say this is the greatest oratorio that has ever been written.
Music generally plays some part in oratorio.
Precisely why I'm here, sir. You will set my oratorio to suitable music.
Someday, perhaps, I may do so.
Someday? But I want it done at once. I'm all impatience.
No doubt. Patience has never been one of your virtues. But I'm afraid you must wait.
I will not wait.
You forget, sir, I am barely recovered from my illness. I cannot undertake this work.
But it's unheard of.
Take it to someone else.
Mr. Handel, we have worked together before. And although I have not always agreed with you, there is no other composer to whom I would entrust this.
Oh, what is it called?
Messiah.
Messiah? A work dealing with the promise and coming of our Lord?
Yes, it is...
Messiah. Let me see.
I have made a selection of biblical passages, chiefly from where, Pooley?
Isaiah.
Isaiah. Isaiah and where, Pooley?
Malachi and Zechariah. Then from St. Matthew and St. Luke. The second part...
Yes. The passages are all clearly marked, are they not?
Oh, yes, sir. I marked them as I selected them.
As you selected them?
I beg your pardon, sir. I marked each passage that I thought you would be likely to select if you had been selecting it.
You're a dolt, Pooley.
Yes, sir.
Go away.
I beg your pardon?
Go away. Go right away from here. You chatter and chatter like a monkey. Come back in a month.
Very well, Mr. Handel. After such extraordinary treatment, I will go. Give me my oratorio.
This is not yours, nor mine. 'Tis every man's. You are but the fortunate messenger to place it into my hands. Comfort ye. Comfort ye, my people.
Eh?
The opening words of your oratorio, sir.
Oh, yes, of course, sir. Nevertheless, Mr. Handel...
Go away.
I think, Mr. Jennings, sir, we really had better leave.
Leave?
You have succeeded in what you came to do. Mr. Handel will compose the music, but now our presence is a distraction.
Speak ye comfortably to Jerusalem.
your supper, sir.
Put it down.
It's there. Your supper, sir.
Will you stop this incessant chatter and leave me alone? Lights, more lights. More lights, I say. I must have light if I am to work.
Light enough, sir, if you'd only take heed of time. Do you realize that you haven't been to bed for 3 nights?
Leave me, Philip. And shall be revealed.
Your pardon, sir?
And the glory of the Lord shall be revealed.
Mr. Phineas. What a lot of milk you're taking these days, to be sure. Have you babies in the house?
No. No babies. Or maybe one great fractious baby that went asleep next day and can hardly be persuaded to eat his meat.
What you need for it, Mr. Phineas, is a woman nurse.
I'm afraid, my dear, that this baby would throw a woman nurse out of the window.
Lord, Mr. Phineas, now how could it?
Oh, my dear, I'm only speaking figuratively about my master. Do you know, he's working night and day and won't eat the food that I cook for him. Him that usually likes his meat. So I'm trying to keep him alive on milk. Well, good day to you, lassie.
Good day to you, Mr. Phineas. And I hope Mr. Handel will soon come to himself again.
Thank you, ma'am.
The house of Mr. George Frederick Handel?
None other.
Then here is a letter from Mr. Handel. It comes, you will see, by government mail from Ireland. You put it straight away into Mr. Handel's hands?
Well, I'll try.
Try? Is he from home, then?
No, he's at home, but,
You let him have it at once. Good day.
Good day to you, sir. But it's important, sir. He said I was to put it straight into your hands.
Go away.
No, leave them. I like to look out of the window.
Very good, sir.
Master, what ails you?
You thought I saw the firmament open, and the glory of all heaven before me, and the great God himself in the midst.
This great work is costing you too dearly. You're ill, master.
Ill? Never have I known such happiness.
But you cannot go on day and night like this. Your strength is bound to give out.
You gave me this work to do, will give me strength to do it. Now leave me.
But, sir...
Leave me, I said.
Please, sir, Captain Coram sends his respects and says we would come and see Mr. Handel.
Well, I'm sorry, my boys, but Mr. Handel's very busy. He won't see anybody.
Not even us? We shan't worry him.
No, my lad, not even you.
Will you give him these, sir? We picked them by the river today.
Oh, I will that indeed. And when Mr. Handel's finished his work, I'll send for you.
Thank you, sir.
Could we see the lady, please?
The lady? Well, there's no...
He means the lady who sang so beautifully. That night we played.
Oh. No, no, you can't see her. She's not here.
Well, good night, sir.
Good night, sir.
Good night. Thank you for the flowers. I'll take them straight to Mr. Handel. Not that he'll notice them.
The lady who sang so beautifully. That night we played.
Why, Phineas, are these for me? How kind of you. What's the matter?
It's the master, Mum. No, the flowers were for him. The wee orphan laddies brought them, but the master...
What's the matter with Mr. Handel?
He's killing himself, Mum.
Killing himself?
Killing himself. Oh, Mum, would you no come to Brook Street quick? You're the only body that can save him.
Mary, my cloak.
Oui, madame.
Thank you. Now, you run along and bid Smithers call me a carriage. Come, Phineas. You shall explain to me as we go along. Quick, get something for him.
Food?
Yes, Phineas, some good broth if you can.
Well, I'll try, man.
What is this? Who are you?
My dear, you surely know me.
Oh, for a moment I didn't. How do you come to be here?
Phineas brought me.
Phineas brought you. Why did he do that?
He said you needed me.
Phineas is shrewd.
Do you need me?
If you had not come, I would have sent for you to take up your greatest work.
What is it?
I heard the voice imperative, and it said, write. And I asked, what shall I write? And straightway the answer was put into my hands. And here is the fruit of my laboring. It is completed.
What is it about? What is it called?
It is called Messiah. It tells of man's redemption.
Oh, an oratorio.
Yeah. It is the story of our Savior. Very likely I will produce it in Dublin.
Dublin?
Yeah. I have just read a letter from the Lord Lieutenant of Ireland inviting me to give a season in Dublin. There is that letter.
Is this it?
Ah, yeah, read it. His Grace is most cordial. London does not like my music anymore. Then we give the first performance in Dublin.
We?
Yeah. I ask you now to come to Dublin and sing in the first performance of Messiah.
But I, an actress, to sing a sacred work? What would people think?
That an actress believed in God. Is that so strange?
He was despised, despised and rejected. Rejected of men. A man of sorrows. A man of sorrows and acquainted with grief. A man of sorrows and acquainted.
We want to see Mr. Handel.
He was despised, rejected. He was despised and rejected of men. A man of sorrows and acquainted with grief. A man of sorrows and acquainted with grief.
Divine. Oh, how sorrowful.
How sorrowful, yes. But leading to what divine triumph? The despising, the griefs, the sorrows, the stripes. He bore them for us. And here, child, is a great mystery. All we can do is to try and reach out for the great truth it carries. From my own travail, I have found that truth. I know that my Redeemer liveth.
You that is so charitable. Come on there.